everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Goofy Guy Podcast.
Woo-hoo.
I'm so excited. I love doing this podcast. Today is the Goofy Guy Podcast for 11/22/23. That is right, ladies and gentlemen. It's the day before Thanksgiving here in the United States. And hopefully I will have this podcast out by then. Hopefully. Cross my fingers. No, I should. It should not be a problem. And it's episode number 158. My name is Jim Spangler, the Goofy Guy, your host, and my mission is to help you make planning for your Disney trip easier.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
That's the goal.
And that lovely, if you're watching us on YouTube, you've already seen her, because I'm not savvy enough to bring her in. And if you're listening, you have heard her, my dear friend, Mandy Corral.
Hello.
Okay, so I'm just going to start off this episode by saying I am so jealous of you. I can't even believe we're talking.
Jealous of me?
Jealous of you. I am so... Now, why am I jealous of you? What did you get to do?
Oh, yes. Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. That was a big
ladies
event.
And gentlemen, so Disney is doing this big tour of Disney archival stuff. That's going around the country, going around the world, actually. There's a tour that's going on in Europe, too. So there's two tours of it, and it just opened in Chicago. And Mandy was lucky enough to go to the VIP preview.
Yes, so I'll talk about it a little bit.
Absolutely, you need to talk about it.
Yes, so Alex Corral, he does TikTok Disney content. So he does like design stuff. He does a lot of work with projection mapping and 3D printing and things like that.
Amazing stuff. If you haven't gone out to see him, you need to because it's amazing stuff.
Yeah, and so the director of PR over there at the exhibition reached out to him and said, "Hey, we're reaching out to influencers in the Chicago area. Would you be interested in coming out to this event? And you get a +1." And he invited me to go along. And of course I said, absolutely. I had no idea what to expect.
Let me check my calendar. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, it was Thursday, last Thursday. And I wasn't sure what to expect. I didn't know. I knew it was like, business casual, a little more formal event. There would be like past hors d'oeuvres and wine and like fancy stuff like that. So I was like, okay, I think it's going to be a little nicer. What I did not expect was that we were the first people there that were not like part of the archive and like part of the exhibition and like the staff. So we walked in, they quite literally rolled out a red carpet for us.
Oh my God.
It was hilarious because we got there, we were maybe, I don't know, 5-10 minutes early because we just drove. We parked quicker than we thought, they had valet, and we just walked in. We're like, we'll just go in, whatever. We'll see what it's about. We'll get some footage, whatever. And so they had like this whole like photo area set up with like a red carpet. We took photos. We got to meet the director of the exhibition. We got to meet like all of these fancy people, and I very quickly began to realize, okay, these are like some bigwig folk that are present at this event.
Hitters.
Yes. I did not realize that. And I was like, as things are going along, I'm realizing, okay, this is getting fancier and fancier. People are coming in like dresses and like, fancy clothes. And I'm wearing like I'm wearing nice clothes, but nowhere near what some of these people were. But anyway.
Your brother had his Mickey Mouse sweater.
Exactly. Well, they actually kind of loved that.
I'm sure they did.
They did. Sure. They were, and then as soon as we started telling people that we were influencers, it was weird because they treated us so well. They treated us like it was very odd. It was an odd feling.
And yes, ladies and gentlemen, you're hearing that I am in Chicago, but I have not yet even come close to reaching the influencer level yet. So.
Well, just
no, and your brother rightfully deserved. I am not. I do not take anything away from him. He busts his butt.
He does bust his butt. Yeah, it's a lot of content.
It is a lot of content.
Yes.
I just thought I'd throw that in.
Of course. Well, yeah. So anyway, we hadn't gotten into the exhibition yet. But then as we're like drinking wine, we hear like there's like some special guests that are going to join us, and I'm like, oh, who could that be? And I turn around, and here in come Mickey and Minnie, and I was absolutely, I was like, oh, like my full geeky Disney self. I got so excited to see Mickey and Minnie. Got to take some pictures with them. Got to spend a lot of quality time with Mickey and Minnie. I mean, we were just because there were like probably 40, 50 people at this event. It was very intimate,
very small.
very small. And so I felt that the imposter syndrome was very real. And then I turn around and in walks Jodie Benson. And I quite literally pointed and gasped because I was like I could not believe that it was her. And my brother did like a double take. He's like, "What is wrong with you?" I was like, "It's Jodie Benson. It's Ariel." And yeah, so I tried to. I kind of did that thing where you like, she's walking in and I didn't like touch her or anything, but I was like, "Oh my gosh, excuse me, can I say hello?" Like I would love to take a photo. She was like, "I'm sorry, I have to go do an interview." Sweet, like an actual Disney princess, sweetest woman in the world. Like
I've
she was
always
like,
heard that about her.
oh my God, she was so kind. And she was like, "I'm so sorry. I got to go do an interview. I'll be right back." So we're like, okay. I was like, "I'm so sorry. Bye. Like, go do your thing." So then we ended up sneaking into the exhibition unbeknownst to us. We did not realize we were not supposed to go in because the ribbon had not been cut yet. But
Interlopers.
But we like snuck through because one of the like cast members was holding the curtain, and we were like, "Are we supposed to go in?" So we just kind of waltzed in, and the only person that was in there was the curator. And he was like walking around making sure that stuff looked good. And we were like, "Oh my gosh, we're so sorry. Like, we're not so." And he was like, "No, it's fine. Go ahead, do your thing, take your pictures, get your footage, whatever." And we were like, "Okay." We are pretty sure we were the first people in the exhibition because nobody else had been through that curtain yet.
Oh my God.
And so we just got the whole thing to ourselves. We walked around for 15, 20 minutes, probably longer than that before we saw another person. We just had the whole exhibition to ourselves. We just wandered around. It was amazing. I mean, it was like some of the stuff they have, I will say, you got to go. I mean,
I already have my tickets. My tickets.
Some of the stuff is like repeat items that they towed out of the archive very frequently, right? That you've seen before. But some of this other stuff was wonderful to see. It was like it was super, super cool. So if you are interested in Disney history, anything like that, I highly, highly encourage you to go. It was awesome.
Yeah.
But we got out.
She showed me a little. She sent me a little video of her with Jodie Benson,
Well,
and I might have said an expletive in text.
Yeah. So what happened was we walked out of the exhibition back into the lobby because they were about to do opening remarks and like the ribbon cutting and all that stuff. And as I walk out, I grab a glass of wine. I go to stand and somebody taps me on the shoulder, and it's Jodie Benson. And she's like, "I was looking for you." I was like, "No, you weren't. No, you weren't." She was like, "Yes, I felt so bad. I ran away from you and I wanted to say hello. And I just, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, and that's the video that my brother took, was her just like telling me about her day and just like chatting. And
I've always heard the most wonderful things about her, and I've always seen the most wonderful things with her. Like, she seems like a genuine human being.
She truly was like, it was like chatting it up with like a buddy. She was so kind and just so sweet.
That's amazing. I love that.
So yeah, we watched then Mickey and Minnie cut the ribbon, and we got to stay for a while longer, and they have some great merch.
I'm sure.
They have some great merch.
I'm gonna have to hide my credit card when I go.
Oh yeah. Because it ain't cheap. But it was great, and the archive did an amazing job of curating that exhibition. It is really, really awesome. So
here's an interesting piece that I bet you didn't know about that. When it opened up when the most recent one opened up in Europe, there was a huge controversy because they were saying that there were genuine articles, genuine things there, and they were not. They were duplicates. And so because their explanation was, we just can't, some of the stuff you just can't travel. It just won't travel, right? You just can't do that because
you can't risk it. Yeah.
Too risky.
Too fragile. Yeah.
Too fragile. And so, but they came out with a statement saying, we will make sure that there are genuine real
Artifacts in this
artifacts,
exhibition.
not duplicates of the artifacts.
I mean, the stuff that they had, some of that stuff I did like a double take. I was like, there's no way that's it. Like, there's no
Wow.
way that's what's there.
Wow.
Yeah, it was very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. I'm so jealous and happy for you. I was so happy for you.
I just, it was definitely not what I expected to be doing on a Thursday night, on a school night. And it's next to like a Target. So when we left, we got in our car, the valet came and brought us our car. And I looked at Alex and I was like, I need toilet, or I need tissue paper, or I need like paper towels or something. And he was like, oh yeah, you want to stop at Target? I was like, okay. And then we like just drove to the parking lot and like went to Target.
That's great.
And like we're wandering and we're like,
great.
did we just do that? Like,
Oh, that is so wonderful. I was so excited and happy for you.
Yeah, it was so fun
to get to do that, and jealous, so completely jealous.
I did nothing. It was all because Alex
I understand.
Gave me the +1.
Well,
yeah.
when your twin has the, the +1, and
Yes.
that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Definitely. No, that's awesome. I'm so thrilled and so happy for you.
Super fun.
I thought that would be a good way to start this episode.
It's hilarious.
Surprise. I knew you weren't expecting.
I had completely forgotten. I was like, why are you jealous? What could you possibly have to be jealous of?
Do I need to bring the video up on my phone? No, so but that leads us into let's talk a little bit about news. There is I can't believe the amount of news that has come out since the last time we talked.
Yeah, since the last time we talked, it was a couple weeks ago, right? That was a lot though.
Yeah,
it was a lot.
A week and a half ago.
Yeah, that's true.
Still,
it wasn't that long.
I mean, it was crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So we're gonna try to do this quick, folks, because there's a lot to talk about.
Yes.
First of all, the most recent news is the Frozen themed land in Hong Kong Disney is open.
Yay! Oh my gosh!
If anybody out there wants to sponsor me to fly out there to see it, I will gladly put an advertisement on this podcast for a year for you to fly.
Jody, are you listening?
Yeah, Jody, are you listening? Jody, can you hear me? Sorry. There are gonna be very many people that get that joke.
No. Who doesn't love a Yentl reference on a Disney pod?
Love a Yentl reference. It looks amazing. Have you seen these videos that are coming out?
Stunning.
Oh my
gorgeous.
God.
Yes.
I mean, it just looks just amazing. Just wonderful. I'm really hoping Dusty Sage over at micechat.com, one of the he'd hate that I called him a grandfather. Sorry, Dusty. One of the OGs of Disney social media was over there, and he's like, okay, where can we squeeze it in? Speaking of Disneyland, he's like, we have to have this. We have to have this.
Oh,
so 100%. And there is room at the World for it.
Oh yeah, for sure there is.
Just saying, and there would be a big demand for it.
100%.
Big demand. Yes. So it looks beautiful. If you have a chance, go out to YouTube, check out, or TikTok, or I mean, really any of them, and you'll see some great videos of them. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, gorgeous.
I'm gonna skip around a little bit because we're gonna save a bunch of them for the end. Hey, Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, which it's the best ride at Disney right now.
It's so great.
It is so great. Every time I think of it, I'm just like, I gotta do it again. Do it again. I'm a little sad that I didn't do it again. I don't know what I was thinking, why I didn't. But it won the Thea Award this year, which is the big themed attraction group. It won Attraction of the Year.
As it should have.
Oh, it's
as it should have.
It's stunning. Yeah. So that's big news. That is I think they won for Galaxy's Edge too, didn't they?
Rise.
Yeah, Rise of the Resistance. But it is such a wonderful ride. It is so good. And now they're doing it with Christmas music. I can only imagine.
It's so fun. Yeah, we did it with Run Run Rudolph last year. It was great.
So
and all the lights are red and green, and like you hear sleigh bells the whole time. It's really fun.
Oh yeah, so good. Yeah. So that is a great piece of news for Disney. I'm really happy.
Yeah.
let's move. Let's talk a little bit about Marvel. Marvel is now moving away from the Kang storyline. For those of you that don't know, if you've been watching Loki, or if you watched the last Ant-Man, Quantumania, Kang is the villain in that.
Mhm.
And so Kang is the keeper of time, basically. He's
Right.
at the end of time, and he's all powerful.
Mhm.
Um, Probably the most. Would you say he's the most powerful villain in?
Arguably, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
arguably. The problem is, and he's a great villain.
Yeah.
And in
Yeah.
Loki, he was great. In Quantumania, he was great.
Mhm.
The problem is the man that plays him, Jonathan Majors, has gotten into some social disturbance
I did
issues.
not hear about this.
Yeah, and so and it's been almost a year since they came out. Um, and
Pertaining to what? Do you know?
um, I it would be wrong for me to say because I don't want to say the wrong thing.
I see. Okay.
It is not the purveying sexual abuse. I think it was domestic
Okay.
violence,
I see.
actually.
Okay.
I think it was a domestic violence thing. But the
Gotcha.
point is, Disney has been trying to figure out what to do about it,
Of
right?
course.
Because
Yeah.
they're like, we can't, everybody's been fired that had anything to do with any kind of dispute of any kind right now.
Right. Right.
And I can't argue with them about that.
Right.
And so I think they have finally decided that they're going to abandon the Kang storyline.
Yeah.
And I think it'll come back. I think further down the
Yeah.
road when they find somebody else to play the part and they can,
Right.
make that transition easier. I think they were just too far in with Jonathan Majors
Oh yeah. For sure.
it's not
Yeah.
like Iron Man and Iron Man 2 where they could change Rhodey,
Oh
right?
yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, not the same.
No.
So unfortunately, that has been put on the back burner, which again changes so much
Yes.
in what
The
Marvel
arc.
wanted to do.
Yeah. The arc that they were gonna. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I, Disney has suspended advertising money on X, on Twitter,
Surprise.
because
Surprise.
Elon Musk is an idiot.
It's a cuckoo.
He is cuckoo. He's crazy.
Yes.
He is saying crazy,
He cray
crazy
cray.
stuff.
He
He
cray
is.
cray.
You can look it up to find out what he said further because they are not the only ones. Big companies are pulling out, which basically is the death knell of the the platform. It was
Yeah.
already dying. I don't know anybody that I know. There's a bunch of Disney people that are still on it, but I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean,
I
it's not
think
like
it's
it
more
was.
just like, yeah, I think it's more just like, okay, I had Twitter and now I guess because people get into habits with their social media. You know what I
That's
mean?
right.
It's hard to sort
That's
of
right.
wean yourself off of a platform when you've been so deeply entrenched in
Yeah,
it.
well, and you have all those followers, and you have
Yeah,
all of that. You have all that
exactly.
content, and it's
Hmm.
very hard. So anyway, that's
Yeah.
hopefully. I hate to say it, but hopefully, it's the end of Twitter. I was never a Twitter fan to begin with,
Yeah.
honestly.
I used it maybe once or twice. I think I've tweeted 3 times in my life.
I tweeted when I had to tell that there was a podcast coming out, or
Right.
I just never really got into it. And there's just so much information, and to find it, you have to filter and do hashtags and do. I mean, it's just very hard to find anything that you want.
Yeah. Yes.
So anyway, and then we're going to talk about this later, but the Jollywood Nights opened at
Yes.
Hollywood Studios.
To mixed reviews
At best.
at best.
At best. So we're going to talk about that. That's what our
Yeah.
main topic is this evening, to talk about
Yeah.
those kinds of parties in general.
Mhm.
So we'll cover that. And now we get to the part of the news that oh God, I never wanted to talk about it again.
And yet here we are.
And yet here we are. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Ron DeSantis.
Ron DeSantis has entered the chat again.
Again.
Unsolicited. Unwanted.
Unwanted.
And yet here he is.
So there is so much going on. I don't even know where to start. I will start by the first thing that he said that made me laugh this week, is that he said that they won. They beat Disney. They won.
They won. They won, Jim.
Even though the court cases haven't.
But they won.
Yet.
But they won, Jim.
But they won. I know.
Yeah.
I was like, Won what? What did you win?
Doesn't matter. It's like Michael Scott saying, I declare bankruptcy. I declared it.
Yeah, that's right.
And
So it is.
It makes it so.
That makes it true. It's the truth. It's the truth. I read that. I literally read that and laughed out loud. I was like, oh my God.
Jesus.
So ridiculous.
Delulu DeSantis.
Oh, he is. That's exactly right. That's what we're gonna call him from now on. Delulu. So the Delulu Oversight Committee also announced that their morale has improved and is even better than it was before.
Because they won, Jim.
Even though more than 50% of the people that work for them have not received their stipend that was promised to them, and that there's been a huge exodus of people from working for the Tourism Oversight Board.
That's why they're so content, because they've worked there for 14 minutes.
That's why they're so content, because there's nobody else to not be content.
There's nobody else there.
They can't get they literally cannot get any work done. So many people have left that they can't get any work done, but the morale is high.
We've got a 75% approval rating, but we've only got like
by the people on our board.
3 people on staff.
That's exactly right. Crazy. And so they took away the whole you can't have a season pass anymore to Walt Disney World. And then they backtracked that and said, "Oh, we didn't know you would be so upset about this." And said, "Okay, well, we'll give you a $3,000 stipend now." Right? Which, depending on how you wanted to use it, you could get a season pass and, a couple of them probably for you and your spouse or partner or whomever, whatever you want. Who cares? Who cares? But they promised that stipend, and over 50% of the people have not received that stipend yet.
Oh, God.
Not received it, which leads us into the next Delulu story, right? That the firefighters unions have deadlocked with the tourism district over this stipend, but everything is good and the morale is high. Just
everything's
repeating.
great.
Everything's great. Everything's great.
Yeah.
Always sunny in Philadelphia. And the problem is, so they negotiated this new contract with the firefighters, and it finally went through after they negated the contract that they had. But because they have now changed, the Oversight District has changed the contract, they have to renegotiate with the firefighters union.
So stupid.
I mean, it's a clown show.
It truly.
It's the Keystone Cops.
It is laughable. It would be laughable.
If it weren't real and if it weren't affecting people.
Well, right. I think I watched like a clip. It was like a Rachel Maddow clip where she's like, we live in a universe right now where everything is either absolutely hilarious or horrifying. And we're just like hovering right on the line. We don't know which one it is.
So now they're having to renegotiate that whole contract. And I say the whole contract because you can't just take part of the contract and negotiate it. You have to renegotiate the whole contract, even if none of the rest of the contract changes.
Yeah.
So, it is such a clown
Bonkers.
show. I am just and to end it all, to end the Delulu
saga.
Yes.
Never-ending saga.
State records show that DeSantis was who pushed to get legislation through to inspect Disney attractions so that the state could inspect Disney attractions as part of a retaliation move.
Of course. Are we shocked?
No, we're not shocked at all.
Surprise, surprise.
I'm just like...
It's just
the thing that I don't understand is that the court. So he won. Let's keep that in mind. He won. The court hasn't interjected here yet, but he won. And I guess he's comfortable enough because he's telling everybody he did it to retaliate. He is saying that everywhere.
He's completely shameless. Like no part of him cares at this point about the optics of any of this. He just is like a petulant child throwing a temper tantrum and will do anything.
And has been from the beginning.
Exactly. And he will do anything he can to get what he wants at this
That's
point.
exactly right. No, it's true. I am just like
Over it. I'm over
I'm
it.
over it, but it just kept coming out.
I know.
Like, I feel like this week and a half, I just keep reading everything about Delulu, and I'm
Yep.
like, you gotta be kidding
Yep.
me.
hmm
So
Just keeps coming.
all right, so let's go on to, that's it for the news. I think that's all we can handle right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Unless
Yeah.
do you have anything do you have any news that you need to share?
Yeah. No.
You're
Other
getting married in
than
a week and a half?
I mean, yes, personal news. Yes, I'm getting married in a week and a half. That's happening.
Yes.
So
I'm so
that's
excited.
I can't wait. And I'm very proud of myself. I've only got one, I guess two, technically. Yeah, I guess there's two. I was gonna say one, two Disney songs in some way, shape, or form in the ceremony. just
And
like
there you go.
just like slight, like subtle nods.
It's your wedding,
Right.
you do it your way,
Yes.
everybody else be damned. Doesn't
Yes.
matter.
Yes. 100%.
Doesn't matter. All right.
Anyway.
Anyway,
Back
moving
to
on. Topic of the week.
woo.
Let's talk about after-hour parties.
Yeah.
Now, we have in the past talked about the after-hour parties, like the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party and the Very Merry Christmas party. And I think we've even talked about if we thought they were worth the money
Yeah.
in
A little
the
bit. We
past.
touched on
And
it. Yeah.
yeah, and the reason I wanted to bring this up is that the Jollywood Nights party at Hollywood Studios, which is the new holiday party at Hollywood Studios,
Mm-hmm.
just opened up.
Yes.
It just premiered.
It's like
2
weeks ago, week and a half ago.
A week and a half ago, maybe. At and to less than
less
good
than
reviews.
positive. Yeah.
Less than positive, and
It was bad. People were pissed.
bashing it.
Yeah.
People were bashing it, and I have very mixed feelings about it.
I mean, I do. From what I've heard from multiple people, multiple sources,
Yeah.
They all kind of complained about the same things.
They all complained about the same things.
The same exact things.
Yeah.
And all things that I associate with like growing pains and like
exactly
trial and error.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I knew we would have the same opinion about this. Ladies and gentlemen, we didn't talk about this before.
No.
We started talking about this. We purposely avoided it.
Right. Just like
and I totally agree with you.
I think that like the stuff with the Brown Derby and like the fact that they, the bookings were messed up and they crashed the system and the stuff with like the lines and the like that is all stuff that I imagine when like Mickey's Not So Scary first opened and when like Not So Scary Halloween party opened. All of those things didn't have standard operating processes put in place yet that were tried and true, right? And
That's
it's
right.
And it's like, I know a lot of people are arguing that it's like, oh, well, we've done this before with all of these other parks. We've done this before with after hours events. Why couldn't they just apply the same stretch? And they did. That's the thing. That's the problem. If you look at it, right, if you look at it objectively and not like I'm pissed because I stood in line to get into the Brown Derby and listen to jazz music, like if you look at it like how they laid it out, they did rely on a lot of their tried and true practices.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And the problem was that it's not the Magic Kingdom. It's a totally different layout. You've got also, keep in mind, completely different cast members that maybe don't have experience working after hours events.
That's right.
Like there's so
because those are premium events and cast members love them, which means that the senior cast members get
those. But at the same time, the Brown Derby has a pretty fixed like group of like the wait staff at the Brown Derby is like high end wait staff that are used to a certain standard of like operations at that restaurant. And so I'm guessing that they maintained the same staff at the Brown Derby that they would for, all the time.
I would guess you're right.
From the conversations I've had with cast members that work there in the past, they don't come, like, some of them have been at Disney for a long time, but a lot of them come from like high end fine dining and like happen to now work at the Brown Derby. So you're putting a group of people that like don't have experience with the like volume of craziness that there's suddenly flooding the space. Like, I don't know.
And I completely agree with you. And I love social media, and I love my social media friends and the people that I follow because I get good information from them.
Yeah.
But they really made me upset this time because I felt like, and I don't know about you, but I felt like working up to it, they were ready to pounce
already. I got the same sense. Yes.
Yeah, I got the sense that they were all ready to pounce before they had set foot in the party. And I agree that the argument of, well, they didn't do a cast preview, so that some of this could have been worked out for cast previews.
Sure.
That is very true.
Yeah.
That I can't argue with that.
Yeah.
But come on, it's the first time they've done this.
Ever.
And they were trying to do some really new, fun things.
And how are you going to and that's something that annoys me so much about Disney fans. There's this constant need for new, fresh, innovative things, but nobody wants to take a step back and recognize that those things take trial and error in order for them to be successful.
That's
now,
right.
Granted, I think we've seen a lot of those trials and errors happening lately. I feel like every time, I feel like a lot of the new things that they try out that are, I feel like the more ambitious it is, the farther it falls, right? Because if it's super ambitious, it's going to like the Star Cruiser, right? That's like the prime example, like
Absolutely.
that tanked. But I feel like with this party, the things that people were concerned about were things like, did you really not expect the system to crash?
Right.
Like every time they've launched anything like that, the system has crashed.
And I have news for you. I don't know how they would have tested that out at the volume
they couldn't
that they needed. And I'm a computer guy.
You can't replicate that. That's like, you can test this. You can have as many servers as you want, but it's
exactly right.
You can't test that volume without it being in real time.
That's exactly right. And with real people that are going to make real mistakes that are also going to add weight to what you're working on.
Exactly.
I mean, there are countless things with that are a problem. But I think I was just so disappointed at our community just pouncing on it.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, well, and some of them did. Some of them did say, I see what they're trying to do.
Yes.
I think they'll get it worked out.
Yes.
Here are some of the issues that they need to work out. And that kind of reporting I'm fine with, because I'm like,
you get it. You have an objective point of view. You're not jumping down anybody's throat. I am consistently finding that. Do you ever watch Resort TV 1?
No.
I am they do live streams. That's their main format. So they'll do like they do every Friday. They like do a surprise. It's not a surprise, but they'll like tell you where they're going to stream from on Friday night, and they to do a whole like live stream from whatever park they're going to, and that they're just great. But they also do like vlogs. They do other content, and I'm consistently finding myself gravitating towards them because they're so positive, and they have such like an open-minded outlook on the company. And it's like, but with other like, then this is not bashing anybody in the community or anything like that. This is just like, I'm also finding that streamers and vloggers and people that I used to really, really love are getting more and more bitter and more negative. I'm looking at you, the Diz. I'm looking at you.
I knew exactly who you were talking about.
I'm sorry, but I was a diehard. I watched every single week. I watched everything that they put out, but man, are they negative Nancy's. Like, do you even like Disney?
Well, that's the question, right? I mean,
Like,
that's what it becomes.
this is
It
your
becomes,
job.
yeah, do you even like it? Why are you even doing this anymore if
What?
you don't like it?
Yes.
No, I agree with that, and uh, I just, I guess I understand that when you're dealing with Disney, people have a certain level of expectation,
Of course.
right? Of
Of
course you do,
course.
and um, I mean, they built the most complicated attraction ever attempted,
Yes.
and it breaks down.
Yes.
It does. And
There's so many working
instead of
parts.
saying instead and I guess it just goes into the instead of saying, "Wow, this attraction is amazing," and when they get all the kinks worked out, it is gonna be,
Right.
I mean, nobody's even gonna come close. Whatever the case may be, but instead what they do is they say, "Oh, it broke down again. Oh, it broke
Like,
down.
surprise, surprise. Like,
Surprise." And I I
I
understand the
get
whole
it.
idea. I do too, and I understand the whole idea of, when people go, that may be the one thing they wanna
Yep.
ride, and if they may not get that opportunity, I understand that. But do you
Yes.
think that Disney doesn't understand that?
That's the thing. Do you
It's
think
not
that
like
it's
Disney is doing this purposefully.
no, nobody's. And one of our friends I don't know her official title, but she was like the team leader on that ride when we went. I think it was now 2 years ago. She was the one that kept getting us on the ride because she was like in charge of all. And
Yeah.
she told us all the nitty gritty details of how hard that ride is to operate. She took us through all the stuff. She's like, we like took her. She'd be like, see that thing? Yeah, that hasn't worked since like the first week. You see that thing? Yeah, we can't get that to work either. And the thing is, she's like, I don't know how it works.
No, and it's obviously not something that they can just go in and
No,
easily take care of.
no.
It's like, the guns, the big laser guns at the end.
That's
Um,
what they used to all do
they used to all go
this.
in and out and move in and
Yes.
out, and it was amazing, and
Yes.
it was spectacular, but the force that it takes to move those huge set pieces
Giant
back and forth
things.
at the speed that they were moving.
Yes.
We're not talking about just slowly moving out and then
Oh no.
slowly, I mean, they were like, it was like they were firing a
I
cannon. It
saw
was,
them. I
yeah,
saw
so
them
did
in
I.
action.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so did I. It was amazing.
Actually, we saw
And
them the first time we went on, we saw them all working. And then the third time we went on, there was one of them working.
yeah, I mean,
Literally the same day.
the technical things, people just don't understand, and Um, so I just feel like this is another one of those things where they're not even giving them a chance to try to work through this.
No.
Um, I I and they immediately at the second party made changes.
Yes, that's what
Like
they
they
do.
immediately made changes, right? I mean, they immediately put more character meet and greets out to
Yep.
handle crowds. They
Yep.
immediately changed the way that the Brown Derby reservation system worked.
Yep.
They immediately changed the top of the lounge and what that was going to be about and how that was going to work.
Yes.
Um, I And, I mean, the top of the lounge, what a great idea,
What
right?
an
People have been wanting to
awesome
go to the
idea.
top of the lounge forever, top of the world lounge forever. We're talking about the top of the Tower of Terror
Yeah.
was supposed to be a bar, a lounge, and
Yes.
so what they've done is that they've now just brought that out to the ground level to have, like,
Yeah.
a lounge out there for this party. Um, I give them props, for even they didn't have to do anything.
They could
Honestly,
have just kept it and been like, deal with it. I will
they
say
didn't
I
have to
am
do anything, and
confident.
they didn't even have to have a party, Mandy. They didn't even have
Oh
to
yeah.
add this.
No.
There's no reason. Now, I realize that the reason is,
Money. Oh,
financial,
of course, of course.
but they didn't even have to do that, right? They could have just stayed with
Uh-huh.
Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, which they make it's like
A bajillion dollars.
a
Yeah, it's
bajillion dollars.
well, and it's the thing is too, people have been screaming for a replacement for the Osborne lights.
That's
And
right.
so what they did was they created something new and and
That's right.
I and I think that's one of the fundamental issues with Disney fans is like there's this constant struggle between the nostalgia, which is what brings you back because you're trying to like, relive those memories, but also like human nature, which is like, I want new things because I'm bored. Right. And so because of that, people want the party, they've got what they've asked for, but now it's too new, and they're not willing to be patient and wait for the new
That's right.
thing to
That's
become.
exactly right. Yeah, and Disney fans are the worst at
They're
that.
terrible with that. Terrible.
They're terrible.
I have every confidence that by the end of the holiday season that it will be a much better
It'll be much
organized,
smoother. And
much
it's not
smoother.
and it will be different next year.
Yo, 100%.
They will completely analyze what's going on. I hear one of the complaints is that they don't use the whole park, which I get, right?
Yeah.
They're not doing anything in Toys Land or at Galaxy's Edge.
Mhm.
I don't think they'll ever do anything in Galaxy's Edge. I think it would be a poor choice.
They
to do
don't.
it.
You don't think they're going to do Life Day? I think they would do Life Day in Galaxy's Edge. Have you ever seen the Star Wars Christmas special?
I have.
It's
Do
so
you see the
funny.
look on my face?
You don't think they do? I do. See, I do. I think they do some kind of just one
I
thing.
think they are trying to bury that.
I don't.
Okay,
Have you
We-
seen? We could talk about this.
we can talk about this. That's right.
There's a whole. I play The Sims, as you may know, and in The Sims, there's a whole expansion that is Galaxy's Edge, and it is a full blueprint, like corner for corner, exact model of Galaxy's Edge and Disney. They worked with Disney, like the entirety of Galaxy's Edge is in the Sims game. So you can
awesome.
you can literally go to Ronto Roasters, you can go to Doc Ondars, you can do it's like I knew the entire layout of Galaxy's Edge before I went there because I've played it in the Sims.
Oh
It
my
is-
god, that's
It-
great.
it's to scale.
That's
It's exact. And so in the Sims, they've got a whole thing that is all like a holiday. It's all Life Day. And there's like all
Oh
of
my
this like
God.
all this like merch and all this like these different items and all this stuff. So I know that it's in Disney's repertoire. I know because they've
Oh,
produced it
no.
for The Sims.
Oh my god, that's hysterical.
And they're not
That's
trying to hide it. It's like a whole event around Christmas. They're like, buy this stuff for Life Day. And like, oh, so
I just don't know that they would ever do it.
I don't think so. But it would be funny.
I
if
think
they did.
Galaxy's Edge is such a different animal that
Yeah.
I could see them incorporating Toys Land should totally be
Yeah.
Toy Story Land should totally be incorporated in it. They should totally
Yeah. Life
why
Day's
it's
too
not.
too niche.
way too niche.
Yeah.
People would be like, "What is
Mhm.
this?"
Yep. Mhm.
But they even created a new character for
Yes.
this. I don't know what people expect.
I don't either. It'll get better. People
It
like
will absolutely get better.
unbunch their panties and get over it.
Exactly. It'll absolutely get better. Now, having said that, I would not go this year.
No, I won't pay for that.
Honestly, I would not pay. I would not pay money this year. I would say if you're even considering it, do not.
No,
Find something else to do.
no.
There are a lot of cool things happening in Orlando, and
Mhm.
just take that evening and do something different.
Because
Don't
it
do
ain't
that.
cheap. And if you're
It is
there
not cheap.
and that is like your trip and you know that like you're probably not going to get to go back around the holidays anytime soon, there are better things to do that
There
are
are
not
better things to do with that money.
let,
than
let
that.
the annual pass holders be the test
That's
dummies for that.
and that's exactly right. And all of the social media influencers that are going
Yes.
back again and
They
again.
can
and
be
again and
the
again.
guinea
They can-
pigs for sure.
That's
And they will
exactly
happily
right.
do it.
That's right. And then next year maybe it will be worth it.
Yeah.
Or maybe the year after. I completely agree.
Mhm.
And that leads us into the not so scary Halloween party and Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party.
Yes.
I think they are both worth the money to go.
Hmm. Yes. I agree.
I question for most people whether they are repeatable.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Because it's expensive.
It's expensive.
And
Whew.
I have been to the Not So Scary Halloween party so many times. I don't even know how many times I've been.
Yeah.
Like I really have no idea how many times I've been. A lot.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah.
But when I started going, here's my one complaint about them. Here it is. And I try not to be too negative, but just trying to be real.
Yeah.
When I first started going to those, it was a very small crowd.
Yes. That's
Like,
what
it
I
was-
remember for Mickey's Very Merry Christmas. Yep.
It was literally you walked on anything that you wanted to walk on.
Yep.
You might have to wait in line for some of the snacks or for the candy, but not long lines.
Yeah.
And it never felt crowded. Ever
Yeah.
felt crowded. And I have to say that this last time that I went, um, it feels like a crowded day
It
at the
does.
park.
That's
There's
what
so
Merry
many
Merry
people
Christmas
there.
felt like. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so many people there that it just feels like a crowded day at the park. It's not the
Yeah.
special, intimate thing that it was before.
No.
And I personally would almost pay more money to have it go back
I would too.
to that,
Oh,
right?
I would easily pay more money to
I
not to wait in those lines,
and
even
I will
on top of the cost of
That's
the
exactly right, and if you're thinking about it, so I think the parade at Not So Scary is worth every penny.
Oh, yeah. That's an amazing parade. It's an
That and
amazing parade.
The Hocus Pocus show and,
Yes.
like, those pieces of entertainment alone are worth it, but when I was there in October, the day that I went to the party, I went to the park during the day,
Mhm.
and there was literally no one there.
Because everybody was
It
waiting to come for the party.
Because everybody was coming to the party. It was empty. I have pictures that I posted on social media where I'm like, where are the people? In
Yeah.
places that usually are crowded.
Yep.
Like I was in Frontierland shooting down the main street of Frontierland,
Yeah.
and you could have shot a cannon down the middle of the street and not hit anybody.
Yeah.
And that's just unheard of.
Yes.
So it's important to think about why you're going.
Right. Yeah. Are you there for the events, the shows, the food, this, or are you there because of the exclusivity and the fact that you won't have to wait in lines? Because if it's that, then you're
Then go
going to be
during
disappointed.
you're gonna be disappointed, and you should go during the day of the party.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
realize that the park closes early. You have to leave early. You
Yes.
have to leave at 6. But I'm telling you, there's nobody in the park.
Yeah.
You can do everything you want
Right.
in plenty of time.
Right.
So you're
Yes.
not missing anything at all. But so I think setting your expectations correctly is important.
Mhm.
It's going to be crowded. It's going to be crowded.
Mhm.
It just is.
Yes.
And so just be ready for that. And be ready to stand in long lines for those unusual meet and greets for characters if you're a character
Yeah.
meet and greet person. Be ready to stand in long lines for some of the treats that they have, the
Yes.
special treats that they do, especially at the Christmas party where they're free.
Yeah, the Christmas party, I will say Steve and I went last year, and well, it was a little different. It wasn't as crowded because it was drizzly that night. It was a
Oh,
little
yeah. Well,
it
you
was a
got lucky.
little it was freezing cold though. It was freezing cold and drizzly.
Yeah.
And so we got lucky in that sense. We still had to wait in quite a few lines. But it can get a little crazy with Mickey's Very Merry Christmas
Yeah,
party.
and I just think it's important that if you are being sold on going for the fact that there are fewer people there and that you'll be able to ride more stuff and you know all of that, I might second think that.
Yeah.
I might go, is that really true?
Yeah.
And do a little research to find out if that's true or not. If the party is sold out, I can assure you it's going to be crowded.
Uh-huh. Definitely.
That is just the way that it is. And nowadays, almost all the parties sell out.
Yes.
So it's very rare that a party doesn't sell out. And
Yeah.
Disney has made it that way,
Mhm.
right? I mean, they know how many people are going to go.
Yeah.
And they know how many nights they need to do it to get the money out of it that they want. And so just be aware. Because if you're going because your kid wants to go trick-or-treating, then just go buy a couple of bags of candy and
go trick-or-treating.
Yeah, and be done with it. Go to Fort Wilderness and go trick-or-treating.
Go to Fort Wilderness, yes.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many other options than
Yes.
spending $158
Right.
per person
Yes.
to get in so that your child can stand in line for trick-or-treats. And granted, they do give away a lot of candy.
Yes, you get a lot of candy. This is
You get
true.
a lot of candy. But I'm just not I think for $158 for just one of those tickets, you can buy a lot of candy.
Yes. Uh-huh.
you can do a lot
Yes.
of candy with that.
Yes.
And so while they are worth it and the entertainment is worth it, I want somebody to pay for me to go to Jollywood Nights because I've got to do the Nightmare Before Christmas sing along.
Oh,
Um,
100%. I would love to do that.
I have to say the shows for Jollywood Nights looked
Amazing.
amazing.
That's what I've heard. I've actually heard that that is the one thing that people have said that is positive is that the shows are actually pretty good. Like the fireworks were good, that sing-along's real good. The jazz, if
Yeah.
you got to wait for it, but it's fun to go in and listen and
Yeah.
see.
Yeah. So I mean, that you just set your expectations correctly
Yes.
because it's a lot of money, and it would be a terrible thing to go in and expect something you're not going to get.
Right. And I think bottom line, don't go in with the expectation of like exclusivity anymore because that is
Yeah.
not what it is. It is no
Yeah.
longer an exclusive experience because once everybody's paying $158 a ticket, it becomes a non-exclusive experience.
Yeah, and it really is. Yeah, that's just the wrong reason to go.
Yes.
It's the wrong reason to go now. It used to be a great reason to go.
100%. When I
but
went when
it
I was
is-
a little kid, I remember feeling like I was alone in the park with my parents.
That's
And
right.
that's what it felt like. I was like, oh my God,
That's right.
we're walking
Well,
around the
and
ride.
even 15 years ago, I went with my friend Heather, and they had they have the big balloons that say where the trick or treats are,
Mhm.
right? And, well, those used to be big orange things that said Happy Halloween or trick or
Mhm.
treat or something on them. They had people walking around dressed like that you could say trick or treat to, and they had candy to
Oh
give you if you
yeah.
said trick or treat to them. Well, they can't do that anymore.
Of
There's
course
too many
not.
people.
There's too many. Yeah.
Too many people, which is really too bad because it was really funny because I went up and I said trick or treat. I was joking. I was like trick or treat, and she was like, "Mm-hmm." She goes, "Yes," and it was some nice candy. I was like, "Oh,
Oh,
I'm glad I found you."
great. That's awesome.
So it's just a matter of setting expectations. They are very fun. There are great things to do at those parties.
Yes.
I still have not been to the Christmas party. Can you believe that?
I still haven't been to Mickey's Not So Scary, so
What is wrong with us?
I know.
So we have to flip that. We got to make that
Flip-flop it.
change.
Yes.
Yeah, we got to flip flop that. Actually, we just need to go when we can go to the Not So Scary early in the week,
Yes.
and then go to the Christmas.
Perfect. At the end of the week. That's a great idea.
There you go.
That's so smart, Jim. I never thought to do that.
I know, and
you go in
and
one trip, and then you get to do both parties.
and you get to do both parties. And you know what would even be better is if somebody wanted to pay for us to do it.
Yeah.
I'm on this sponsor kick. I don't know why.
Because
Somebody could pay for us to do it.
yeah, that'd be great.
It doesn't. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. Kind of. And I am I?
Am I?
Am I kidding? But so we both agree that it is worth it if your expectation is correct.
Yes.
I mean, is that fair?
Yeah, agree.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that is it's like the people that went to the Jollywood Nights, they just didn't have their expectations were way too high.
Right.
Too high. And I will say rightfully so because of Not So Scary and Very Merry Christmas parties.
Mm-hmm.
I understand why you would go in thinking that they've got this all.
Sure. Like we already do multiple parties. Why can't we figure it out? Yeah.
That's right. So I do understand that. And but we have to give them time. We have to give them time.
Yeah.
I personally think that it could end up being the party that you want to go to.
Oh, I do too. Yeah.
I think
well, especially now.
The park itself I think is perfect for this sort of thing.
Now that there's the like negative reviews, less and less people are going to want to go. So now it's probably going to be a little bit less crazy if you want.
Yeah. So I guess it was sold out the second night, but I guess it ended up not being sold out because people asked for their money back before they went because of the reviews.
Yep.
Which, shame on everybody.
Yes.
For making that happen. I agree I believe in giving an honest review.
Mm-hmm.
But a part of a reviewer's job
is to promote.
Is to promote.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. That is, as much as people hate reviewers, that is part of their job.
Yes.
Is to put butts in seats.
Yes.
So, and most reviewers know that.
Yes.
and we'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah. Well.
But not Disney. Not Disney
No.
reviewers.
No.
Anyway, I've been negative tonight. What is with me?
No, you're not negative.
I feel like I'm being really negative tonight. I feel like I don't know. I hope I'm not being too negative for you all out there.
No.
Well, listen, do you have anything else that you want to talk about for the parties? Yes, they are worth it. Just make sure you
set
know
your expectations.
You set your expectations of what it is that you're going for.
Yeah.
They are fun. I mean, you get to see some characters you never get to see.
Yeah.
You get Snope.
Yeah.
On Snows on Main Street, USA. Are you kidding
me?
Yeah,
it's cool.
You know, and the Halloween party has so many great things.
Yeah.
The Halloween party fireworks is amazing.
Yes.
I mean, you know, it's so good. So don't let one bad evening
discourage you from giving it a try. Yeah.
That's right. Discourage you from giving it a try. I just think you have to know what you're going to.
Yeah.
What am I going to? What's going to be there? What is the point of this for us?
Right.
As, you know, visitors. What do we want out of this? Mm-hmm. So if you have that, then I think you'll have a great time. Yeah. I think your expectations will be set. If you are there to make memories with your family and have fun,
mm-hmm.
then you will have a wonderful time.
Yes.
If you are there to get as much out of Disney as you possibly can, then you're that's probably the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Probably need to do something different. Or I think you agree with that.
Oh, I agree. Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't mean to be a negative Nelly. I'm sorry, everybody, if that's the way it sounds.
You're not at all.
I think the Delilah news got me fired up.
Of course.
Delilah news got me.
Delulu. Good old Delulu.
Delulu, yeah, whatever. Yeah, Delulu, Delilah, whatever.
Delulu, Delilah.
Delulu, Delilah.
First name Delulu, last name Delilah.
Delulu, Delilah news, ladies and gentlemen.
DeSantis or a drag queen? We don't know.
Who knows? He does wear boots all the time with lifts, so who can tell? The other thing so I'm gonna have to edit this out because nobody cares about this. You know what else makes me laugh about that is that the boots that he's wearing are so ugly.
They're so ugly with like the pointy toes.
Oh, they're terrible.
They're horrible.
They're terrible. Yes. Yeah, they're terrible. Anyway, no one cares about Delulu Delilah's boots, or the fact that he is wearing lifts in his shoes. Doesn't matter.
No.
Hey, thanks so much for joining us this week. Really appreciate it. I know you have a choice to listen to lots of different podcasts, and I'm glad that you decided to spend time with us. Hopefully we have made you laugh. We've given you some information you can use, and you found it valuable.
Yeah.
Make sure that you subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and if you could go on to iTunes or Apple Podcasts, whatever it is now, and give us a 5-star rating and review. We'd really appreciate it. It really helps us out, helps other people find us. If you have ideas for the podcast, things you'd like to learn about, maybe to plan for a trip, please let us know. We'll be more than happy to help out and dedicate a whole podcast to talking about it to make sure that we get all the information that you're looking for in your planning. That is our job. You can get a hold of me at jim@thegoofyguy.com or just go to thegoofyguy.com. And I'm there. It's the Goofy Guy blog on TikTok and on Facebook and on Instagram. It's the Goofy Guy blog. So basically, if you Google the Goofy Guy, you're gonna find me. So please let us know. We'd really love to know what you think and what you'd like us to do in the future. So I ask this every week, Mandy.
Never changes. Just Mandai.
Never changes.
Mandai17. It's on Instagram.
On Instagram. Yep. And I'll just tell you, it is easier to get her on Instagram than it is on texting sometimes.
I'm just bad with social. I'm just bad. I'm bad at it.
Yeah, I am too. I'm trying to learn and get better at it. Yeah. I'm trying to get better. I'm not very good at it either. But please reach out. We would love to hear from you.